According to the Roman playwright Plautus, a woman without paint is like food without salt. Shakespeare's Hamlet was less keen but just as rude. He said to Ophelia, "I've heard all about you women and your cosmetics. God gives you one face, but you painted another on top of it." All were found guilty of embroidered faces, and some with great exaggeration. Welcome to Steeped in Tradition. In this edition, we discuss the topic makeup and cosmetics, its origin, and its distorted representation. When we use the phrase, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, are we trying to say that there's room for disagreement on the topic of aesthetics? Or that we don't feel comfortable asserting the superiority of one style over another? I think not. Does it simply imply that we're sensitive to conflict or have a fear of being rude or mean to others? It's possible. However, by resorting to the phrase, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, what we're actually doing is unleashing a more reckless conversation by stating that nothing is ever more beautiful or uglier than anything else. Historical data has shown that the Egyptian men and women celebrated life and that Egyptians were dolling up for centuries. In fact, as early as 4000 BC, they invented cosmetics and they applied the galena madamet, a copper and lead mixture to give color and definition to their features. In addition, they used coal, a combination of burnt almonds oxidized at different colored coppers, ores, lead, and ash to adorn their eyes in an almond shape, something that's pretty popular still today. Personal hygiene and appearance was a big deal to them. Kaifi, a rare and expensive perfume made of resin and cinnamon spice, was worn by the privileged, while other assorted fragrances were made of flowers, plants, and aromatic herbs. These efforts were done in honor of their gods, Horus and Ra. The application of eye makeup was of great significance to them. Blue and green eyeshadows were worn on special occasions, but the deep black-coated lead-based liners and the soot were worn daily by both men and women back then. Counter to much warning from the health advisors about the harmful toxins, many in their defense claimed that the substances protected them from the damaging effects of the sun's glare, dust, and flies. Coal also acted as a healing agent for eye infections caused by the River Nile. The magical and religious role of cosmetics and beauty care was carried over even into death. Egyptians depicted themselves by hieroglyphics and sarcophagi, and in their tombs, cosmetic palettes were found buried with them as grave goods. They believed in the afterlife. One of their most famous beauty secrets was the use of milk baths as a skincare treatment. It is believed that Cleopatra herself bathed in sour donkey's milk as the lactic acid exfoliated and rejuvenated her skin. From the soot-rimmed eyes of the ancient Egyptian women to the lead-painted faces worn by Elizabethan women, ancient Egyptians have been the first to plaster on killer cosmetics on their bodies, and the Elizabethan women had similar taste. Queen Elizabeth I, what a great example, or Virgin Queen, daughter of Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, was known for her botched beauty and, dare I say, tragic tales. After falling ill from the spread of smallpox disease, she decided to plaster her skin, cheeks, and bosom with a Venetian ceruse, an alabaster mixture of vinegar and white lead mineral to hide the pockmarks left from the illness. This is timely. Elizabeth used black coal for eyeshadow, but to make her own eyes appear larger, she plucked her eyebrows in a thin line to form an arch. Does this sound familiar? After creating a high forehead, which she cherished, she shaved 2 inches away from her hairline. At the time of her death, she was reported to have a full inch of makeup on her face. She believed much of her power was in her beauty. With defined eyebrows and curled lashes, it's only natural that the eyeliner would become increasingly prominent in our glammed world. Today, we have trained aesthetic practitioners to the highest possible standards for beauty and healthcare. Our women have more public and skilled roles in society, and beauty remains a top factor in how we are viewed, both locally and internationally. Overall, the general public is definitely much more aware of the potential dangers now than centuries ago. Adsel Stewart, a Barbadian qualified in several fields, a skilled craftsman, remains relevant in makeup and skincare and hairstyling. He tells us how he got started in the beauty sector.
I have done several careers across my life, and I am what people most know me for now is makeup, some to a lesser extent hair, although cosmetology was my first um, diploma and training, and then I went into makeup after that. I became very widely known in Barbados after I came back to Barbados in 1996. I then hit the ground running with the makeup aspect. Always wanted to do cosmetology. I found it interesting, and I used to dabble in that from the time I was younger. I used to do my mother hair, I used to do she nails, I used to do everything. Because she had the girl children, so I always had to make sure that my mother must look dapper when she goes out. So I went ahead and do what I had to do as far as the cosmetology and the career in makeup and hair and skincare. Because I first started out to do cosmetology, and while doing that, it tweaked my interest in skincare and makeup. Skincare, why? Because I had problematic skin as a child growing up. I went through a very rough time with eczema. I used to suffer with very bad eczema. And at the time in Barbados, I don't think they really knew exactly how to deal with that. My mother spent a fortune between the doctors and the different pediatricians and skincare specialists. And the last body I dealt with that really brought it under control, may he rest in peace, is Dr. Ramsey Scattle. From the here then, when I realized in New York I had the opportunity that I could also branch into skincare, I said, but why not do it? Let me find out the different problems that you have with skincare and how you can deal with it and how you can treat it. So I went off then to Christine Valmy in New York to educate myself now as far as skincare. And part of the skincare training included makeup. I was the only black person, only West Indian at the time. So while I was there, the Department of State started to look into licensing, because in New York you have to be licensed for everything. So cosmetologists, in order to do makeup, they had to do the complete cosmetology situation, and then went off and study different classes in makeup just to get the license. So we did some part of that would have been theatrical makeup, as well as, everyday glamour makeup, bridal makeup, stuff like that.
Trudy Brathwaite, a young entrepreneur who manages Expressions by Scotty's Makeup, expresses her love for the sector as well. From a small but appealing shop situated in the heart of Bridgetown is where she makes her livelihood. Her demographic trends towards a younger age group.
I'm a licensed esthetician. At first I was into nails years ago when I was younger. Then it so happens that my father passed at me being a young age, and I lived with him. And in that time, I was just looking for ways and means of getting extra money. And people will always see me with my face too and say, your face look really nice and them kind of things. And that's what made me actually really put it out there to be doing it as a service to make money off it. And then I say expressing myself. I don't do also the basic makeups. I like doing creative makeups, like drawing things on people's faces, like for carnival and then kind of things. I like that kind of aspect. Make them feel good about themselves and then kind of things. I traveled to New York and did courses. I did the Polytechnic a long time ago, very long time ago. And just like to get more exposure, you need to learn and be able to grasp in with everything that changes with it. You can't just say that, well, I'm a makeup artist, I get certified or whatever the case may be, and that's it. You have to keep learning, to keep striving.
Adzil relived those bygone days when makeup and cosmetics had their limits. Indeed, they did. He remembers vintage brands our mothers and grandmothers loved so dear. How sophisticated pressed powders and foundations shaped their faces of their past.
Every makeup was Pond's. It was Pond's cream, it was Pond's powder, it was Pond's vanishing cream. And you used powder. Sometimes you never even check to see if the shade of the powder match you, but you just put on the powder. And everything was red lipstick in those days, and it was a very indelible red. It didn't used to come off. I still got her cabinet here, a wardrobe that my mother had. I still have it out there in the back now. As a child, they took her lipstick and wrote something. It ain't come up to this day. So lipstick in that time was a real serious thing to deal with. It was indelible. It used to come off. I didn't know used to make it older, but it used to come off that easy. And primarily the most of makeup at the time was powder and lipstick, and that's what we did. And what they used to call rouge, a little red cream that they put in the cheeks and they rub that in. But I don't think eye makeup and thing came along after that. And they would use like the kohl pencil to do the eyebrows and the lining of the eyes, and that used to be the extent of the makeup.
Makeup is a powerful tool to help in the creation of your identity. The shade of lipstick you choose, the tone of eyeshadow, the hue of blush, all of these help to craft the unique and distinct identity that makes you stand out in life.
That's your personal choice. What I really would like women to do is to more look after their skins. And to look after your skin, it starts with the nutrition. So makeup, it doesn't really start with the makeup, because you can try to make somebody look as good as you can, but if the foundation is like paint, like an artist, it's actually artistic work. If you don't have good skin, which you will achieve by proper hydration, drinking enough water, and eating properly, because the older you get, the better you should eat. When you're young, you do all kind of crazy things that your body can knock off. But after you get to a certain stage in life, you have to really reverse and start to eat properly, look after your skin. And then your skin start to lose moisture after a certain age. You start to lose all kind of things. So you need to rehydrate your skin, either with night creams and different things like that. So if you have good skin, the thing is, the less makeup you will wear.
As we grow older, our complexion changes and gains texture. Persons need to know what products to buy in order to enhance their skin. Fine or not so fine lines and larger pores can make the foundation mask. This look can be unflattering.
You looking at someone, you could see straight ahead what kind of skin they have, but still the application of makeup will have to be able to cover it and still make the person feel pretty and beautiful at the same time. Now with someone that is mature, someone that is younger, that has texture skin, because obviously they have acne and them kind of different things, they can still have the full glam, but obviously you're going to do the makeup that is going to look flawless. You're going to use products if there's blemishes and those kind of things on the face. You're going to make sure that they're covered and still make sure that when it's done, there's a flawless makeup and they still feel pretty at the end of the service.
As I would normally put it when I teach a class, makeup is really not used to create a face, unless we're doing drama and theater where we trying to recreate somebody else or the image of somebody else. If you're going to use makeup on you, I think that God made us all in His own likeness. We are all beautiful in our own stance. That is my whole thing. And what I do with makeup, I try to see what are your good points, enhance them and pull them out. And that's what I figure makeup is used for, to enhance the beauty that is already there.
The old saying, less is more, is relevant for makeup as well. But in this case, occasions such as weddings and parties require heavier layers of makeup. From time to time, it's nice to get that glammed look.
I have mature people I have the younger generation, and I have also the people from, say, between 25 going up to 45. The younger people gonna want everything that new and trending, plain and simple. Whether it be glitter, long lashes, whatever new and trending, for sure you're gonna find it with the younger people. You can still find it with the same age group as the 25 going up to 45. Some may want trending, some may just want very simple. So with the mature skin, you can still make it look pretty, you can still make it look flawless, but it just will not be the glitz and the glam.
I work with varied from young to the very mature. And different people, as I said, different people call for different things. The point is making your client comfortable. It is not only doing the service. What most makeup artists have to work out now, not only makeup artists, but hairstylists and everything, you are offering a service. And it is not that the person can't get it from nowhere else. They can get it somewhere else. But you need to have a personal relationship, a kind of personal relationship with you and the client that you're with. If the client feels comfortable and happy with you, they will actually trust your judgment on a lot of things.
Before planning your makeup and outfit, decide the feature you want to play out. Makeup, hair, clothing, all that has to do with the individual's personality.
If you're going to be an image person, which I have worked in those areas, dressing people, and because I've done that for Alison Hines in her early years a lot, you have to work with the person's personality, and you try to do things that blend with them and the personality of the person. But now, it looks like anything goes, so most people will do what they figure they want, and if that's what they want and you're going to provide it, go right ahead and provide it.
I'll be able to talk to you and tell you, well, this is not for you. Not just because I want to do that specific look or whatever, but be able to talk to you and say, well, this is not for you, choose this instead.
Adjil says there is no one shade fits all for makeup. For years, beauty brands have struggled to create products that cater to dark skin. The foundations available were either gray, unrealistic, or in many cases, simply non-existent. Meanwhile, being from the old school era, he continues to applaud Black women for feeling good about their skin.
I still think that a woman's beauty can be soft and subtle, and we are already beautiful, so you don't need to go that extra mile, especially West Indian women. I've worked in North America, I've traveled the globe, and West Indian women have some of the most beautiful skins, bone structures, and everything. And sometimes I think that they just overdo it. They don't have to go to that limit. And I don't know if they see themselves that way because of other issues, because that also reflects. If you are a person that have either very low self-esteem and you don't feel that you are beautiful unless you go the whole 9 yards, but you have to learn to accept yourself. The beautiful thing now, in these times over the last 30 years since I've come back to Barbados and set up boutique, it is amazing how I find Barbadian women now seem to have accept their own hair, their natural hair that they're born with as their crowning glory. That never would have happened 30 years ago. Everybody would have wanted their hair either straightened or do some strange thing with it. It's amazing. And there are women now that I see wearing natural hair for the first time that I would never have thought be seen dead without relaxing the hair, because to them that was their thing. But I think people are now more becoming aware of their natural beauty and realize that, Black really is beautiful. You have a whole lot of different hues of black women out there. Take, for instance, Rihanna. She's developed this Fenty makeup. But that's going to be from her own personal thing. Because coming from Barbados, she know that they got a million different hues of black people. You got the red skin blacks, the medium red black, the black blacks, all the brown blacks, the blue blacks, the red blacks. And she has mastered doing a foundation that transcend all these other hues. So it seems to have been working for her and for the people that support her with the makeup. I have tried it, and it is very light. It goes on, and it doesn't feel heavy, and it gives the coverage that you need. And the colors seem to, really blend well because she has a wider range of foundation colors.
Throwing back to the many years in our Pine studios, he shares what he loves best. He says makeup for television is similar from makeup for theater. Ordinarily applied makeup is not appropriate, and when the functional lights come on, the quality is actually compromised. HD makeup is suitable for all photo shoots, bridal weddings, and TV presentations.
You got must about 10 million lights up there, 1500 watt lights. When the lights hit you, if you don't overdo it, when those lights hit you, the whole face wash and it comes in down to actual structure and you can actually see the person. So you have to contour and you have to do these things so that you can actually see the features of the person. Television is almost the same thing because the lights give off a lot of blue hues, so you have to be careful what foundations you use and what even lip colors you use, because something that could be a good lip color normally face to face, by the time you put it on the camera, it turns into a completely different thing. So sometimes you have to be very careful what colors you use on television because it translates differently. And then you have to also be careful with a lot of the heavy, like sparkle colors and stuff. So you need, when you go on camera, to research all these things. There's certain colors, and there's even certain cuts of clothing that if you are a heavy set person, certain things that you should stay away from. And, there are different things like that, but you need to do your research.
Our first contestant in the Miss Universe pageant took center stage in 1976, and since then, 11 or more women have represented our island. Adsel talks about his experiences while preparing for such an event.
It's totally different to doing makeup one-off. You have to factor in the lighting, you have to factor in the fact that we are operating within a time frame, and sometimes you have to break some of the rules and take some shortcuts in order to the end justify the meaning. In other words, in order to get where you got to go, you always have to go into with a plan. And basically what I used to do is the opening scene, I would find out how many scenes that they have, and I would start with a neutral makeup. So, because what I think is when the judges out, they want to see how you develop over the night. If I start at the high end, there's no way for you to go. So I normally start with a neutral, natural look that looks nice and clean and fresh. And you do your opening number with that. So every time you change, I add something. So by the time we got to the evening gown now, that is where I will probably add full lashes and do the full glamour and everything, and then change the hair, maybe pin it up. If people are wearing like strapless gowns or cold shoulders, or if you're wearing something with a high neck, most of the time, you can put the hair up. If the person tends to be a short person, you put the hair up to kind of add length to them and give them some more poise and grace. So sometimes you have to structure. It's a combination of everything. You have to structure what they're wearing along with the hairstyle, along with the makeup. And that is what gives the complete image. That way the photographer as well as the judges and everything get a whole different approach of how this person can be reshaped or repurposed.
Even though Adsel was reluctant to pursue this area of his study, he later found out that there was a demand for his services.
Barbadian people love to look at dates. So I would say they love to come. They don't come and visit you when you're sick, but when you're dead, they come in to see what you look like. You know that. So as long as people want to look at people, it will always be a demand for it. And you always have to try to make them look the best. One, in my training when I was in New York, is they always said to try to make the person look as good as you can get them. And try to make them look as though they're sleeping. Why? Because that's the final closure. That's the last thing that stays with you. Say, for instance, a family will go to the hospital and see their relative with all these tubes attached and all this thing, and it ain't pretty. And even when they pass, even when you go to see the body, it is not pretty. Because when you're dead, you're dead. There's nothing pretty about that. Or even when in accidents and things, you see people damaged in ways that you say, my gosh, how are we going to do this funeral? And you don't want to put that out there for somebody to come and look at. So that's when years ago, before you had people that could do this reconstructive thing. That's why people ended up doing closed caskets, because they used to show the people because it wasn't good to look at. So when you can really bring somebody back looking as though they're asleep, they're just there resting, they would tell them, look, get up and come and go home. You know, that kind of way. I would consider that you've done a good job. And not only that, that helps the family be closer. You'll be surprised.
Adsil is competent and skilled in many areas. As part of his theatrical years in Green Room Players, he worked alongside many great men. Trudy, on the other hand, tabled her other options in order to balance her finances.
I worked with Revlon already. I worked with NYX already in Barbados and Cape Shepherd. I worked with L'Oreal already. I was called in as a makeup artist to work with the reps over the international brand names. I also do eyebrow shaping. I do something called tinting eyebrows. The service for that is wax and tint. I also do Nova Lash extensions. I also do the other individual lashes, which is just the cheaper ones. I also do Brazilian, bikini, leg, underarms, arms, eyebrows, lips, and facial waxing. Women are battling with ingrowing hairs, are battling with razor marks, and they don't like it. The waxing is more cleaner. I won't say that it stops it directly, but over the time in doing over the service, you will see improvements of the ingrowing hairs. You will see improvements of the dark marks that the shaving caused, and sometimes you don't even realize that the hair has grown back because it's be so light and soft you don't even feel it, but then you will notice it with the eye.
Much of our current day makeup application is tied to the past. From the cat eye makeup to the bold red lipstick and bronzers, all date back to the ancient times. There's no denying Egypt's impact, and their methods continue to influence and inspire us daily. On Kadooment Day, the culmination of Propover, an annual festival, women are bedecked with colorful and professionally applied makeup. Eyes, nails, and hair are all packaged to give that flamboyant look to last all day. Children from a young age as well enjoy makeup. They love face painting when attending fairs and parties. They look forward to the glittered images of cartoon characters, butterflies, or hearts spread across their cute little faces. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact, consumers' interest in skincare products have increased, while an interest in makeup products like lipstick and foundation has decreased, except for the eyeliner products. The revolution of impressive graphic neon liners and the space liners are trending. This suggests that anxiety regarding the serenity of COVID-19 not only affects the skin, but also that consumers seek to maintain their social self-esteem by wearing makeup on the exposed areas of the face.
So why do we wear makeup? This self-love, is it just another social custom, or is it a primal drive? The desire to decorate one's face and body has roots in prehistoric times. Whether it is an act of self-expression, enhancement, covering one's flaws, or just an everyday habit, it has become an integral part of society. The importance of wearing makeup is knowing that it cannot be a replacement for a strong and confident personality, or the innate beauty that we are all adorned with. It can only be the color left upon the canvas that we're born with. Makeup is neither sinful indulgence, nor is it a negative custom. And why we wear it? Well, to me, it's my business. It's simply another form of art.